So now that we're displaying all of our data on our map view, now we're going to look at how we can work with MapView Delegate methods to select our annotation. So in this video, we're going to create a new default initializer on a UI view controller. Then we're going to work with MapView Delegate methods. We're also going to work with UI long press gesture recognizer. And then we'll create our own delegate protocol for implementing with our UI view controller. In the last video, we started to present our data within the map view. However, there's one small piece which is very important that we want to do, which is that we need to allocate a latitude and longitude to our dreams when we're creating them. So let's go into our main storyboard. And in there, I'm just going to quickly copy the Add Image button. I'm going to paste it into the stack view. And then I'm going to change the title of it to Select Location. Then within the Connections Inspector, I'm going to delete the connection for TouchUp Inside. And then I'll create a new TouchUp Inside action within our Dream View controller. And I'll call this Select Location. Now let's go into our Dream View controller. And within the Select Location method we've just created, I'm going to put let controller equals Dreams Map View controller. And then I'm going to create a navigation controller by putting let navigation controller equals UI navigation controller, and set the root view controller as the controller, and then present view controller, and pass in the navigation controller, set it to animated true, and put no completion. So there's a few amendments that we need to make within the Dreams Map View controller to make this work how we want it to. So let's go into the Dreams Map View controller, and I'm going to create a new variable, and I'm going to call this fetched results. Set that as a boolean, and set the initial value to true. Now, above my load view, I'll create a new initializer, and I'm going to set that to init fetched results, and set that as a boolean with the default value of true. I'll then call super.init with nib name, and set that as nil, and bundle as nil. Since there is no default initializer for init, this is the initializer I need to call. And since I'm not passing across any nib file, I want to set this as nil for both of these items. And then what I'll do is I'll create self.fetchResults and then pass across fetch results which have been passed in as part of this initializer. And then I'll put in the required initializer with coda. Now I'll want to make use of the MapView delegate. So I'll just put this in here quickly. And this will throw an error, but for the moment don't worry because we will come back and fix that later. Now I'm going to wrap my do-catch statement in the ifFetchResults variable that we've just created. So if it's true, we want it to work through the perform fetch. And if not, then I'm going to add in a new gesture, which will be a UI long press gesture recognizer. And I'll set that with a target of self, and I'll create a new selector with select location, : I'll set the gesture minimum press duration equal to 1, and then I'll add the gesture to the map view. Now just under the user region method, I'm going to create a new method called select location and pass across the gesture, which will be a UI long press gesture recognizer. The first thing I'm going to do is remove all annotations from my map view by putting mapview.remove annotations and then pass across the mapview.annotations. Then I'll get a point at the gesture location, so I'll put let point equals gesture.location in view and select the map view. And then I get the tap point within the map view by putting let tap point equals mapView.convertPoint, pass in the point, and then to coordinate from view and pass in the map view. Then I'll create a new MK annotation by putting let annotation equals MK point annotation. I'll set the annotation coordinate to the tap point. And then finally, I'll add my annotation to the map view. Now, let's take care of this MapView delegate by creating an extension on the Dreams MapView controller. So we'll put extension Dreams MapView controller : MapView delegate. And within here, I want to make use of the didSelectAnnotationView delegate method. So I'll put MapView didSelectAnnotationView, and then I'll put ifLetAnnotation equals view.annotation and just leave that empty for the moment. And at the end, I'll put dismiss view controller animated true. Now I'm going to create a new protocol, and I'm going to call this the Dreams MapView controller delegate. I'm going to make this a protocol extending class, and then here I'll put one method, which will be func did select location, which will have a latitude of a CL location degrees and a longitude of CL location degrees. And then within my Dreams MapView controller, I'll put a weak variable, which will be called delegate, and set this to a Dreams View Controller Delegate optional. This will mean I can create my own bespoke delegate and pass across this didSelectLocation delegate method as part of my delegate that conforms to the Dreams MapView Controller delegate. And where I want to place this is within the didSelectAnnotation view delegate method for the MK MapView. And so I'll put self.delegate.didSelectLocation and pass in the annotation.coordinate.latitude and the annotation.coordinate.longitude. Now, let's go back to the Dream View controller, and then within the select location method, I'm going to set the controller.delegate equal to self. Then, let's scroll down to the bottom, and we're going to create an extension to the Dream View controller, which will extend the Dreams MapView controller delegate. And we'll put the did select location, and now let's import call location into our class, and we'll set a variable latitude equal to CL location degrees, and another variable longitude set to CL location degrees, and we'll set both of these values to 0. And then within this delegate method, we'll set the self.lat equal to lat, and the self.long equal to long. Then up in the save dream, we want to validate that the latitude is not equal to 0, and the longitude is not equal to 0 too, before we save the dream. And then we'll set our dream lat equal to lat, and the dream long equal to long. And now up in our select location, we'll put fetch results false. Now let's build and run, go to our created dream, click on select location, and now when we do a long press on the map, it creates a pin every time we press and removes any other annotations. When we click on the select location, it passes back the location for us to save into our core data. So in this video, we've learned how to work with the different MapView Delegate methods. So in summary for this section, we started updating our user's location and centering our map view on that location. We've created a map view and a UI view controller programmatically, and we've added annotations into our map view. And we've learned how to work with MapView Delegate methods. In the next section, we're going to look at how we can create a watchOS 2 application to work within our project.